In a world of rest and unease everywhere you look, trials and tribulations like video games going from $60 to $90, or even worse, deciding to pay rent or give donations to your favorite YouTuber, VTuber, or Twitch thought, it's times like this where you want a distraction from it all, something to take the edge away, something, if even for a moment, makes all these little problems go away. Well, sit back, grab some popcorn and your favorite gamer or waifu drink, as I talk about the top 10 anime to watch before the world ends. I'll be breaking this down into 10 different genres, so there's a little bit of everything for everyone. Also, just cause I love you guys, I'll throw in an honorable mention in each category. Maybe that'll be a future video covering them as well. Let me know after you watch this video. I'm also gonna try to talk about shows that are not talked about as much. So here we go, here are the top 10 anime to watch before the world ends. Jumping right into it, the first genre I'll be talking about is Isekai. For those who don't know, Isekai typically is a reincarnation story, someone who either dies or is just randomly transported into another world, which is where my first entry, Jobless Reincarnation, comes in. Following a nameless shut-in who gets hit by a truck after trying to save a group of people, the character wakes up as an infant named Rudius Greyrat, trying to make the best of his new situation. Rudius is determined to do whatever it takes to live his new life to the fullest. Using the knowledge of his past life, like video games and anime, Rudius starts training in magic as soon as possible. His parents discover his gift and innate talent and hire an instructor named Roxy. Eventually, he surpasses all she has to teach, becoming a renowned young sorcerer. Rudius is then sent to live with his father's cousin and tutor his daughter, Eris, in order to further his knowledge and education. Now teaching Eris magic and learning the ways of the sword from Ghislaine, a former guild member of Rudius' dad, Rudius starts to get comfortable and happy with his new life, finally achieving the things he wanted to. That is, until a magical calamity hits the land, transporting Rudius and Eris into an unknown land known as the Demon Continent. If you like stellar animation, great world building, and interesting characters and interactions, this is the show for you. I will put a slight disclaimer, there are some weird perverted scenes that happen in the show, but it becomes less and less frequent as the show continues. The show tries to rectify or break away from it, not glamorizing it, but shaming it. So if that's not your cup of tea, I get it. But I will say, if you give the show a chance, you will not be disappointed. By far one of the best shows I've seen in general. Give it a 3-episode watch and go from there, but I urge you to watch all of it. My honorable mention for this category is The Hero is Overly Cautious, also known as the Overly Cautious Hero. Now imagine this, a world where highly rich businessmen settle their disputes by choosing champions in gladiatorial style combat. This is the world of Kengan Ashura. We follow a timid old salaryman named Kazo Yamashita, who gets forced to manage Oma Tokita by his chairman company, the Nogi Group. The two are then thrown into the Kengan Annihilation Tournament, held by the biggest CEOs in Japan. The prize for the winner is the prestigious and powerful seat as chairman of the Kengan Association. Well, some of you may know, a good portion of shonen shows have a tournament arc. Well, if you like any of those, that's the whole show. Not spending too much time on one character and just getting straight down to the fighting. If you like tons of action, interesting characters, without a ton of backstory, this show is for you. There's also lots of hype music, and you don't know who's going to win each match. I was left on the edge of my seat for all of them. There's 2 seasons out now, with a 3rd coming out later this year, just in time for you to catch up. The only thing to watch out for is it's all in CGI, but it's actually pretty good, unlike Berserk 2016. Give it a 1-episode watch, and if you don't like it, don't watch it. My honorable mention for this category is Afro Samurai. I made a video about it, go watch it and see for yourself. Now, I don't know, there's also another trio we follow. Nano, a cyborg who just wants to be a high school girl, but is afraid of being exposed. My honorable mention is Asobi Asobase. They say it's about the journey, not the destination. I believe that for love as well. The story follows a peddler merchant named Kraft Lawrence and his chance encounter with the goddess of harvest, Hollow, a girl with wolf-like features. Forsaken by the town she blessed for many years, she wants to leave and see how the world has changed. Convincing Lawrence to take her with him, the two travel in search of her original home of Yoitsu. Spanning across a fictional setting with European influence, we follow them through their journey of various towns. Hollow, claiming to be a wise wolf, uses her wisdom to help Lawrence increase his profits along the way, also attracting the attention from the church due to her origins, creating a little cat and mouse game. I really like this show. I think it's a beautiful world with an interesting setting, seeing where the two travel in the budding romance along the way, leaving you captivated with a constant will they won't they get together. But don't worry, it eventually pays off. The music is great and the art style is a little basic, but still looks really good for its time. There are 2 seasons out right now that were made back in 2007, with a new season announced later this year in July. Give it 1 episode and go from there. It may seem a little slow or boring at first, but don't worry, there's some action in the show to keep things interesting. My honorable mention is Ancient Magus Bride. What does Fooly Cooly mean? Well, I'll just let you find out for yourself. Fooly Cooly is a coming-of-age story in the eyes of our main character, Naoto Nandaba, a 12-year-old living a mundane life. After having to fill the hole his brother left behind to go play baseball in America, he lives with his widowed dad and grandpa, takes care of everything his brother left behind, like his brother's bunk and his ex. Nothing seems to happen, his life is boring, those are the thoughts Naoto thinks of his day-to-day life. That is until a crazy Vespa-riding, guitar-wielding girl comes along and runs him over, causing him to grow a horn on his head. Now being stalked by the Vespa girl, Haruko Harahara, she infiltrates his home and becomes a resident there as a maid. A supposedly claimed alien investigator from the Galactic Space Police Brotherhood, who's hunting down the space pirate king, Adam S., bringing all sorts of chaos along the way with her presence. Now just wanting peace and quiet, his boring life seems to be over, being dragged headfirst into the greatest battle for the supremacy of Earth the universe has ever seen. This show is kind of a fever dream. You got crazy alien robots, some deep life lessons, and a great soundtrack by The Pillows. I'm also talking about the original show, by the way. I haven't seen any of the new seasons, so you guys can let me know if they're worth the watch. So I'd say just watch the whole show. It's only 6 episodes long. My honorable mention is Code Geass. Kenichi the Mightiest Disciple is about a bullied kid who turns into a Giga Chad. After witnessing a girl get harassed by some guys, Kenichi tries to step in and gets absolutely clapped. The girl he was trying to save turns out to be a martial artist herself, and she handles the guys with ease. Seeing his determination to become stronger, the girl, Miyu Furinji, invites Kenichi to her house, which also happens to be the dojo of various martial artists like Muay Thai, Chinese Kempo, and Karate, just to name a few. Somehow he becomes a student at the dojo and is set out to be the strongest disciple of the Ryo Zanpakuo dojo. With his new skills, he's able to beat his school bullies with ease, drawing attention to a gang of bullies known as Ragnarok. Imagine a group of super bullies who are really good at messing people up. So with training every day and fights that get more and more serious, we see Kenichi turn from a novice to a master. This show is good for people who like technical explanations of martial arts, or people who like those classic shonen protagonist stories. But be aware, being an older anime, it kind of falls into a couple traps. Kenichi kind of seems like a wimp at the beginning of the story, which can be annoying. He doesn't want to fight because it's scary, or training is way too hard and he whines and complains about it. You also have overly sexualized characters with some sketchy perverted moments. But if you can get through that, I would give this show a 3 to 5 episode watch. It's an older show for sure, but it has lots of charm and moxie to it. My honorable mention for this is Baki. Did you know blood tastes like iron? Ping Pong the Animation is an introspection of competitive sports in the frightening realm of self-realization. It follows Makoto Tsukimoto, aka Smiles, and Yutaka Hoshino, aka Peko. Smile and Peko have been friends since childhood. Peko strives to be the best player in the world, but being overly confident often skips practice, causing him not to be the biggest fan of his teammates. Peko hears an ex-national player from China is coming to Japan. Peko brings Smile along to challenge him and suffers a humiliating, one-sided loss, causing him to question why he even plays in the first place. Then you have Smile. After their coach sees the potential in him, begins training him to be the best, but Smile is a very hesitant player who only plays for his enjoyment, causing him to never be able to beat Peko. The two struggle to find meaning in the sport they play. We also see other players throughout this story deal with the same issue. With crazy animation, the show is a sight to behold. It's very stylized, so that may throw you off, but it's a surprisingly deep show. Unlike most sports anime, there's no crazy hidden superpower. It gives insight into what it means to play in a competitive sport. Now, I don't know about you, but I've never played anything competitive other than ranked in Rocket League, so what do I know? But you can't help but respect the quality of this show. I'd give this one a full watch. Even if you don't like ping pong, you'll like this show. My honorable mention is Kuroko no Basket. They say space is the final frontier. If you like vast different worlds and various aliens, Outlaw Star is for you. A Western galactic space opera, we follow the main character Gene Starwind and his best friend Jim Hawking. The two of them are kind of like your day-to-day jack-of-all-trades business, Gene being the guns and the muscle, and Jim being the brain in the business. So they get the offers to be bodyguards for a strange woman. They take the job, and it's a little more than what they bargained for. After fighting off some space pirates, they learn their new benefactor is an outlaw bounty hunter named Hot Ice Hilda, who forces them to open up a container containing a naked girl inside. This girl is Melfina, a bio-android who's the only one that is capable of interacting with the ship Hilda needs, the XGP-15A-2. After getting into some skirmish with the key pirates, Hilda ends up dying. Thus, they become the new owners of the ship, which they nickname the Outlaw Star. But before dying, Hilda reveals the true purpose of the Outlaw Star: to locate the Galactic Key Line, a place which holds immense treasure knowledge, and power. Setting the adventurers on a journey to find this place, Gene will grow his crew while being hunted along the way for what secrets the ships hold, like the McDougal brothers, the ones who are responsible for Gene's father's death, the Nugan Khan, a scientist after the state of omniscience, and Lord Hazanko, leader of the Anten 7, seeking the ley line for ultimate power. Now you may be thinking, hey, this plot sounds kind of familiar. Well, that's because years later, a show called Firefly was made, which is heavily inspired by that show. So if you like shows like Cowboy Bebop or Firefly, this show was definitely made for you. It's an older show being made in 1998, so it definitely doesn't look as nice as the other shows in this video, but if you like your older stuff, it'll be just fine. I give it a 6-episode watch, that way you get introduced to the full crew and the setup of the show. My honorable mention is Space Dandy. You like gambling? Well, good news, there's a whole place dedicated to it. Hayaku Private Academy, a high-class elite high school filled with Japan's wealthiest and most influential people. There's only one small problem. The hierarchy of the school is determined by your gambling skills. You are ranked by the monetary contributions you make to the student council. That is the world of Kakeguri. Students gamble their fortunes against one another. Those who win get popularity, prestige, and connections. Those who lose go into debt and become slaves. The males are known as Fidos and the females are known as Middens. That's where our main character, Yumiko Jabami, comes in, a compulsive gambler who does it for the thrills and the lulz, completely disrupting the status quo of the school. The show consists of various different gambling games with some slight twists and even higher stakes, leaving you on a wild ride with lots of twists and turns. You also have interesting characters and great music to accompany it. It gets slightly weird at times. Let's just say, lots of people in this show are down bad for gambling and power trips. All in all, I'd give the show at least a 2-episode watch. If you don't like the first 2 episodes, you won't like the show. My honorable mention is Future Diary. Barakamon is about an up-and-coming calligrapher named Seishu Honda, who is very proud and arrogant about his work. When a veteran calligrapher he respects calls his work unoriginal, he loses his cool and ends up punching the guy smack dab in the face. As punishment, Seishu's father exiles him to Goto Islands, which is a definite culture shock for a city boy like him. Now, in a new and unfamiliar setting, Seishu must find new inspiration and develop a new art style. Unfortunately, people keep barging into his house, like Naru Kotoshi, a boisterous girl and her middle school friends, or you got an energetic old man who just won't leave him alone. Let's just say, as the new member of this community, he draws in a lot of nosy neighbors, but through dealing with these crazy islanders, Seishu learns far more than he ever hoped to. For me, watching this show is like a nice, chill, comfy treat. You get to sit back, relax, and watch people grow. It may seem a little boring at times, but what are you gonna do? It's slice of life. It can also get a little emotional sometimes if I remember correctly, so be aware of some tearjerkers. The thing I remember most about this show is the opening. If nothing else, I would recommend watching that. But if you're still interested, I would recommend giving the show a 3-episode watch. My honorable mention is Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. Well, that was my top 10 anime shows to watch before the world ends. I hope you like it. The one I'd probably recommend out of all of them is either Ping Pong the Animation or Jobless Reincarnation. Let me know which one you guys would watch out for. If you want me to make any more like this, please like the video, subscribe, push that notification bell. I've been Boog da Goob. Thanks for watching. Peace.